There are moments in life when we feel lost. Perhaps you are facing a difficult decision, or something in your heart feels unsettled. In these times, you may wish for someone or something to show you the right path. This is not unusual. It is part of being human. In Buddhism, we do not speak of a single God who controls our fate. Yet, we understand the deep human desire for guidance. Many people seek a higher power to help them navigate life's challenges. But what does that really mean? Is it something outside of us, or is it something within? Imagine standing in a dense forest. The path ahead is unclear. You hesitate, unsure of which way to go. In that moment, you might look for signs, maybe the direction of the wind, the position of the sun, or even the footprints of someone who walked before you. These are forms of guidance. They do not push you forward, but they offer hints, gentle suggestions. Life is much the same. We look for signs, words from a wise teacher, advice from a trusted friend, a quiet feeling deep inside. Sometimes, guidance appears in unexpected ways. A book you happen to read, a conversation you overhear, or even a failure that teaches you an important lesson. However, not all guidance is clear. Sometimes we feel trapped between choices, unsure of which is right. Fear makes us hesitate. Doubt clouds our vision. When this happens, many people ask for divine help, hoping that something greater will give them an answer. But in Buddhism, we see guidance differently. It is not about waiting for a voice from the sky. It is about developing awareness, paying attention to what is already present. Think of a still pond. If you throw a rock into it, ripples spread across the surface, distorting the reflection of the sky. But when the water is calm, you can see clearly. In the same way, when our minds are restless, it is hard to recognize guidance. But when we quiet our thoughts, wisdom becomes visible. So, why do we seek guidance? Because we all desire peace. We all want to move forward without regret. But the answers are not always given to us directly. Instead, we must learn to listen to ourselves, to others, to the world around us. And perhaps, in that listening, we will begin to understand the way ahead. When we seek guidance, we often look outside of ourselves. We ask for advice, search for signs, or hope for a moment of sudden clarity. But where does true guidance come from? Is it given to us by something beyond our understanding, or is it something we can cultivate within ourselves? In Buddhism, we do not believe in a divine being who controls our fate. Instead, we see life as a continuous flow of causes and effects. Every action, every thought, and every experience shape the path ahead. This means that guidance is not something that simply appears. It is something we discover through awareness. Think about the way a river finds its course. It does not ask where to go. It simply flows, shaped by the rocks, the land, and the pull of gravity. Yet, if you observe closely, you will see patterns. The river follows the path of least resistance. It adapts to obstacles, carving its way over time. Our lives are similar. The world around us offers many small hints, but we must be attentive enough to notice them. So, where can we find guidance? First, we can find it in the wisdom of others, the teachings of great masters, the words of those who have walked before us. These can serve as guiding lights. But even ordinary conversations can contain unexpected wisdom. Sometimes, a single phrase from a friend or a stranger can shift our perspective. Second, guidance comes from experience. Each challenge we face, each mistake we make, teaches us something. Often, what we see as failure is actually a lesson. But if we only focus on our disappointment, we miss the guidance hidden within the experience. Third, guidance comes from within. We all have an inner voice, a deep sense of knowing, but it is easy to ignore. Doubt, fear, and the noise of daily life make it difficult to hear. Meditation and mindfulness help us reconnect with that inner wisdom. When we sit in stillness, when we observe without judgment, clarity often arises. However, there is something important to remember. Guidance does not always come in the form we expect. Sometimes, what seems like misfortune is actually leading us to a better path. Sometimes, silence is the answer. The key is to remain open, to trust that even when we do not see the full picture, life is still moving forward. Even when we recognize guidance, following it is not always easy. We may doubt whether we are making the right choice. We may fear leaving our comfort zone. Sometimes we know what we must do, but we hesitate, hoping for more certainty. But guidance does not remove all uncertainty. It does not guarantee that the path will be easy. It simply points us in a direction. The question is, do we have the courage to follow? Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, looking at a narrow trail. You do not know where it leads. There are shadows, unknown turns, and the possibility of obstacles. Yet something in you feels drawn to it. You could stay where you are, waiting for a clearer sign. But the longer you wait, the more fear takes hold. The only way to truly know where the path leads is to take the first step. This is how life works. Guidance can only take us so far. At some point, we must act. Trusting guidance does not mean being reckless. It means listening carefully, reflecting deeply, and then moving forward with awareness. Even if we make mistakes, even if the path is difficult, each step teaches us something valuable. However, following guidance does not mean waiting for perfect conditions. Many people say, "I will make a change when I feel ready." But readiness does not come from waiting. It comes from doing. A seed does not wait for the perfect moment to sprout. It simply grows when the time is right. And the time is often right before we feel fully prepared. This does not mean rushing into decisions. It means finding balance, being patient, yet not frozen by fear. If a door opens, we can step through it. If a voice inside us calls, we can listen. And if the path ahead is unclear, we can take small steps instead of standing still. There is one more thing to remember. Guidance is always present, but we must be quiet enough to hear it. The world is full of distractions. Our minds are often too busy to recognize the subtle signs around us. This is why stillness is so important. Whether through meditation, mindful walking, or simply sitting in silence, creating moments of peace allows us to see more clearly. Living in harmony with guidance does not mean having all the answers. It means being open, being aware, and having faith that even when we cannot see the whole path, each step matters. In our busy lives, guidance is always present, yet it is easy to overlook. We rush from one task to another, surrounded by noise and distractions. In such a state, even if wisdom is right in front of us, we may not notice it. That is why learning to listen, to truly listen, is so important. Listening does not only mean hearing words. It means paying attention to everything around us and within us. The gentle advice of a friend, the lessons hidden in our experiences, the quiet voice of intuition, these are all forms of guidance. But they can only be heard when the mind is calm. Imagine a lake on a windy day. The surface is disturbed, making it impossible to see what lies beneath. But when the wind settles, the water becomes clear, reflecting the sky and revealing what was hidden below. Our minds are the same. When filled with constant noise, doubts, and distractions, we struggle to recognize the guidance available to us. But when we create moments of stillness, clarity naturally arises. There is no single way to cultivate this stillness. Some people find it in meditation, sitting quietly and observing their breath. Others experience it while walking in nature, letting their thoughts settle as they move. Even taking a few deep breaths in the middle of a busy day can create space for awareness. The method does not matter as much as the intention: to pause, to be present, and to listen. Life is unpredictable. We cannot always control what happens, but we can choose how we respond. When we trust that guidance is present, when we open our hearts to wisdom, the path forward becomes clearer. It doesn't mean life will always be easy, but it means we will walk with greater confidence, knowing that we are not lost. Before we finish, I want to express my deep gratitude. Your support means a great deal. Whether you have liked this video, subscribed to this channel, shared your thoughts in the comments, or even sent a super thanks, I sincerely appreciate it. These small acts of kindness help this space grow and allow more people to hear these teachings. Thank you for taking the time to be here, to reflect, and to listen. May your journey be guided by wisdom, and may you find peace in every step you take.